And I think that's what we're afraid of. It's just the rejection that we will feel from being ourselves, because we know that when we be ourselves, that it's not going to be for everyone. But that's okay. And you just have to understand that, yes, while you may not be for everyone, you will be for the right someones. And once you just realize that the little rejection you get from being yourself, when people are not liking you when you're being yourself, the rejection you feel from someone not choosing you, from you being yourself, it's actually for your good. That's actually saving you from a very low quality experience of you overperforming for someone that doesn't really want you any damn way. And once you realize that you can just be yourself and get everything to come to you, you'll start doing it more. You don't want someone that you have to seek validation from, because you're always going to be seeking it. You're always going to be chasing it. You're always going to be looking for it. And it's never going to be enough. It's not going to be a fulfilling relationship.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey girlfriends, it's your girl, mindset and intuitive coach, Kindall D, back with the Hey Girlfriend podcast. It is like 1:23 a.m. right now, but I'm like, I want to get this done while I have my makeup on. I'm just being honest. I just went out. It's Friday night, so I just went out with my husband. He's going to be pretty busy tomorrow with a lot of other stuff. And the other day I mentioned to him, like, hey, we haven't spent time together. I'm feeling a little distant and whatnot. And so what he decided to do was, okay, let's go out Friday night. I'm going to take you out. And that's what we just did. And so I just thought I'd start with it, because I'm like, it kind of flows into what this topic is about today, because it's like, I got a man like that listens to what I need, listens to my concerns, listens to what is bothering me, without him taking it personally, or without him feeling like he can't meet my needs, or without him gaslighting me, or without him, just basically invalidating me. And he just meets it with, okay, what can we do to fix it? And that's him. And I did not seek his validation at all. Like, never. I've never had to seek validation from him to get a man like that, if you feel me. And so it kind of, I'm just making sure this mic is on. Hold on. I may edit this out. Hold on. Because I'm a little buzzed. I was a passenger princess today. So I usually drive, because he doesn't like driving. But he was like, I'm driving today. So I feel like a little real date, So hold on. I'm a little buzzed. I'm just trying to make sure I plug this up correctly. And this is on. I didn't check this. I just plugged it in, sat down, and started talking. Because I'm like, let me get this done. It's late. And I got a coaching call in the morning. So let me get myself together. So there's a little realness for y'all. But anyway, what I was saying is that it kind of goes into what my topic is on today, about seeking male validation. And I'm like, I thought about it and it was like, when I was seeking male validation, and when I was looking for, attention from males, and just trying to do what I could do to be delighted in by the male gaze, and just wanting men to choose me and want me and whatever. When I was that girl doing that and performing for men, I ended up with a bunch of men that just treated me badly, and just in a nutshell, men that just took advantage of my naiveness. They took advantage of my need for their attention and validation. And I don't know if it was them taking advantage of it, I just know that they saw someone that really didn't know her worth, someone that preferred their validation over her own, someone that didn't really have the best self-esteem, someone that was ready to fall for just about anything. And they saw that, and it's like, oh, she easy. I can just give her a little attention here and there, and she gonna fold, and she good. I got someone, and that's all I ended up with. And it's like when I grew and I stopped seeking it, I got better than what I was looking for initially, if that makes sense. So let me explain. So today's topic is going to be about how to stop seeking male validation. And I'm also going to throw in why you tend to do it. I've been that girl. I've been that girl seeking male validation. I'm with you. I feel you. So this is coming from a place of wisdom, not a place of judgment. Just to let you know. Y'all probably already know that. If those that have been following me for a while, y'all know how I get down. Y'all know that everything is I talk about here is from my own healing journey, basically. So when I stopped seeking male validation and I instead started self-validating, I found that, for one, it's not that I didn't find someone. It's just that it took a little more time. And so I get it. When we seek validation, it's because, we may have not gotten the attention we needed from our caregivers or our parents growing up. We may have not gotten the validation from them that we needed. We may not know our worth. And how we feel about ourselves and our worth comes from our parents and our upbringing and how they made us feel about ourselves. And so if you were lacking that, I was lacking that, you can't help but to seek male validation. You can't help but to seek validation in other people, just in general, because it's like you can't do it for yourself. And not only that, you can't do it for yourself. It's that you were always dependent upon your parents validating you. And it was probably really conditional, or you only received praise if you were a good child or you did something good, or only received praise for what they deemed worthy of being praised. You know what I'm saying? So it was very conditional. It just wasn't free-flowing love to where they just love you for who you are. And so when you did not receive that, it is so easy to become an adult that is still behaving in that same way as you did as a child. You're still looking for some type of validation outwardly because you don't know how to find it inwardly. And before I move on any further, I also want to say that attention is not necessarily a bad thing. Validation is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, seeking those things are not necessarily bad. It's just that when you heavily rely on it and solely rely on it outwardly, that it becomes a problem. Because everyone needs a little attention every now and then. Everyone needs to feel like, everyone every now and then needs to feel like that they matter, that someone is just happy to have them in their presence. And it's like you have to learn how to seek that outside of just males. You can seek it in friendships, family, anyone. You can seek it from anywhere. And so when you're feeling a little lonely, or feeling like you don't, you're going without, or feeling like you haven't had anyone to pour into you, seek it in the actual good relationships that you have in your life, the good connections you have in life. Spend a little time with some friends instead of just trying to find it in a male. You get what I'm saying? So, before I move forward, I want to talk about my journey with seeking male validation and how I came out of that. Because my thing is, I want you to understand that I totally relate to you. I totally get it. I totally been there. I've totally been that girl. And now I'm this woman that that's married, and I'm in a marriage, and I was in a relationship where I never once had to seek his validation. So let me explain. So with me, in all of my 20s was spent on basically looking for male validation, my whole 20s. And when I was looking for that male validation, it was just that I was looking for some type of void fulfillment. I was wanting some type of connection. I was wanting validation, of course. And I just wanted to feel like that I mattered. I wanted to feel like I wanted to feel good that I was being chosen. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel like that I was just somebody that someone wanted. And so with me wanting to feel that, because I never really felt that before. And not to mention only that, not to mention just that, I also it was really ingrained in me in my upbringing, from my mom and my dad, that it's important for a woman to always be womanly, quote unquote, womanly and feminine in order to get a man and attract a good man. So I was always around me being a certain way so that I could get a certain man, you know? It was always around, my mom used to say things like, you're never going to find a good man being that way. No man wants a woman that acts that way. It was always that. And so think about it. As a kid, I'm hearing this constantly. And not only that, on top of that, I can't get any real love, unconditional love from them. Like, it was always very conditional. I felt like I was never good enough because I was always criticized, always just criticized on every being and every part of who I am for everything. It was never anything very well said about me unless I was performing and doing well in their eyes. And so that, coupled with the belief that I wasn't going to be any good to a man unless I was a certain way. Think about all that being poured into me. And then I become this adult in my 20s looking for that because I didn't know who I was. I thought that my life wasn't going to be any good unless I had a man choosing me, And being that type of woman that was wanting to be chose and wanting to be picked, being that type of woman looking for male validation, it did nothing but cause me hardship, heartbreak. It was a very traumatic experience. Nothing good came from it. And the thing about seeking validation outwardly, it's never, ever going to be enough. And it's like you don't realize that because it's like, I need it, so you don't realize that it's wrong because you went without it and you were told that you had to have that in order to actually be, quote unquote, a real woman. And so here I was trying to be this good woman, and that's quote unquote good woman, trying to be this nice girl, trying to be this super understanding woman, trying to be everything that whoever I was dating needed me to be so that they can be happy with me and feel good about me and choose me and keep me. But it never, ever worked out. It never, ever led to that. It never, ever materialized into anything worth keeping. Like, all that time of me spent seeking validation from a male, seeking just to be chose, trying to be good, it was never good enough. I was never good enough. And it's like, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. It made me feel like that. It just reinforced the feelings and thoughts that I had from my childhood. And it's like, okay, these are the only connections out there. These are the only type of men out there. Men that I have to make sure that I'm being a good woman to, so that I can continue to get their validation. I thought that was all there was. And it hurt me because I'm like, I'm doing everything right. And it's still not good enough. They're still hurting me. They're still cheating on me. They still don't trust me. They still are not even really validating me. And it's like I'm constantly was seeking it, constantly wanting it, and constantly trying to be someone that they could choose, and so that I can get the validation. And it was never, ever good enough. And so you will feel the pain from that. Like, seeking validation is very, very painful for you. I know you may feel like that's what you need, but think about the harm that it's causing you. Think about how it's like you never can get enough of it. Think about how you still feel unworthy, still don't feel good about yourself. And it's like, I was feeling that because I'm like, I'm doing everything that I thought I was supposed to do. And look what it's getting me. It got me nothing but men that wanted to take advantage of me, that wanted to use me, that wanted to, that couldn't even trust me, that had all these issues within, all this trauma within themselves. And I'm trying to be the understanding woman so that I can be chosen by them and be loved by them, and basically like win them over. That was all I was about, is earning my love and showing that I'm deserving of it, and trying to prove my worth. It was all of this. It's like, it was just like all of me was going out. And I weep for that. I weep for that woman in my 20s. Like, I do. A lot. And I'm not tearing up because I'm like, I'm still hurt by it or anything like that. I've learned recently that whenever you tear up and cry, that it's not that you're just quote unquote sad. It's that your nervous system is trying to regulate itself because it's feeling all the feelings. And that's what's happening right now with me. I'm just thinking about it. And I know so many women out there that's like me. And it's like, that's why I do what I do. Because it's like, y'all, you don't need that male validation like you think you do. I'm going to tell you something that I've realized. I'm 37. And so I woke up to all of this like when I was 29, and I was leaving my last toxic relationship to where it was just me trying to prove myself and prove my love, and just like, why don't you love me? And why don't you find me worthy enough to treat me right? Like, I was just like so confused on it. And what it was really is that they were never really worthy of me. And they were only worthy of me during that time in my life because I didn't know my worth. And so at the age of 29, I started to do things differently. I didn't even know what I was doing, to be honest. I just knew I didn't want another relationship like that because my whole 20s was wasted on it. And I'm like, what am I doing? And so I started to try to find myself. I still wanted love, but I'm like, it can't go that way. Something got to give. And so the way that I stopped seeking male validation, and the way that you can as well, it's just by realizing that no good whatsoever can come from seeking male validation. None. It's only temporary. Like, male validation and just outside validation, period, it's always going to be fleeting. You're always going to feel like you're not enough. You're always going to feel like you're not good enough. You're always going to feel like you're unworthy. Your confidence is always going to be so low. Your self-worth is always going to be low. Your self-esteem is going to remain low whenever you seek all of these things outwardly. And I get it. that you don't know how to find it inwardly, but you can. You totally, totally can. And it just takes you really building yourself up and undoing the ways that you were taught, unlearning the ways that you were taught, reconditioning yourself. And how you do that is you do things that are very self-validating for you. Self-validating. And for me, what helped me to find my self-validation was really pursuing my dreams, really pursuing what I wanted, really pondering on what I want. And I had to stop worrying about any type of man, any type of validation from them. And I started thinking about like how much I've missed out on me, how much I missed out on what I could be. And I started really pouring into myself in ways that included me starting I've Been That Girl. And I remember thinking while I was going through those toxic relationships and how I was trying to come out of it. And I'm like, when I get through this shit, I am going to build a platform to help women that were just like me. Because I know I'm going to make it out this shit. I know I'm going to change. I know I'm going to grow. I don't know how, but this can't be it. I know that I'm going to heal from this. That was what I was telling myself going through all this shit. And I'm like, I remember even telling my ex, my last ex, and I was like telling him like, I want to write books and help women like me that's been through things. And this was me telling him like he was going to be my husband and be the one. And this was me telling him all of this. And he was like, yeah, okay, like it was good. And I never knew that he was going to be a part of that. Be a part of me talking about his ass as well. But yeah. And I worked on that. I remember I went on a trip with my friends. My first time out of the country. My first time on a real trip. I remember I got my little passport and everything. And I went on a real cruise. Went to the Bahamas. Just having fun. And it was like a whole new world. You know? And I'm like, there's so much more out there. And that was a validating experience for me. Having those friends that I went with was a validating experience for me. And it wasn't that I was seeking it from them. It naturally occurred. And I feel like it naturally occurred because they were honest about their feelings towards me. They weren't just validating me because they were seeking something from me. Whenever you seek male validation and whenever they do quote unquote validate you, they're trying to gain something from you. That's why it's so fleeting, because you're going to need more and more of it. And also because they're going to do it, they're going to breadcrumb it because they know how you are so dependent on it. And with them knowing how you're so dependent on it, they're going to just sprinkle a little bit here and there, breadcrumb you a little here and there, and know that you're not going anywhere because you need them. You need the validation. And they know that if they can just keep the validation to themselves and just sprinkle it and throw it out to you like that. Like, here you go, a little something. Now you want me. Okay, then they come back. They retreat. Because they know you're going to be like, okay, I need more. I'm still hungry. I'm still thirsty. So they throw a little more out. They know that. But when validation naturally occurs to you from people that are just really, really happy to be around you, really, really like you, really, really love you, it is not so fleeting, and it actually can fill you up. And that started happening when I just basically started living my life outside of male attention and really just started being me. And because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, you just got to stop looking for validation, period. Oh, you just got to stop looking for attention, period. Oh, you don't need attention. You do. I'm not going to lie and say you don't need validation, because y'all are the ones that out there to keep me going. I don't seek anyone's validation on this platform, but y'all give it to me daily. Like, I read the comments, I read the DMs, and I check my DMs. I'm not the one to say no DMs. I check them. I like talking to y'all. I like being connected with y'all. And I like that y'all say and I love it that y'all just saying the things that you're saying, how I'm helping you. That's validating. And that helps me to keep going. But it's not that I'm riding on it and dependent on it. I'm really dependent on me, and y'all are just adding to it. So y'all's validation is not fleeting like a male's validation would be. You get what I'm saying? It's more so because it's naturally and organically occurring that it's filling me up and making me like, okay, I'm doing well. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you don't need any type of validation, any type of, I don't want to sit here and tell you that validation and attention are bad and that you don't need to seek it at all. What I will say is that you don't need to perform for it. It's better if you are just being yourself, and then the right people are attracted to that and are gonna be just so thrilled and happy and organically wanting to be around you because they like and love you for you. That's what I'm saying. And so being on that trip with my friends, being in my circle, my circle of friends that I've had for over 10 years, family, and then the networks, the people that I network with on my platform, building my platform up, all of that was naturally occurring validation that just built me up and helped me to feel good about myself. It actually was like the emotional experience that I needed in my upbringing and childhood. It's what I needed, and I was getting it naturally, just being myself from the people around me. And so that's what helped me. It's like when you stop performing and when you stop trying so hard to get it and just really be yourself and learn to love on yourself, and that when you learn to love yourself, it's easier to be yourself and you don't feel so ashamed to be yourself. You'll find that you will attract your tribe. And that's what I did. And that's what really helped me on my journey. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't receive any validation at all, or that I didn't get, any help at all. I did. And it's important to build the proper community around you of people that are actually just really happy that you're in their lives. As simple as that. You don't have to go seek it. You will attract it. And so that was a critical point on my journey. And that's what moved me away from male validation more into just realizing that I'm the shit. I was trying to think of something profound to say right there, but that's really what it is. It's like I realized that I am a good person, I am a good woman, but to the wrong somebody, it will not be enough. And it's only because they're probably not even enough for themselves. They don't even know how to appreciate someone like me. And so that's what I had to realize. And me actually, no longer seeking male attention or validation, it's what actually opened me up to a lot of different men out there that I didn't know existed, if that makes sense. Because in my head, in my little world, and how I was raised to be taught about men, I thought that men were just like one way, and that it was up to me to pull the good treatment out of them, to prove to them that I deserve the good treatment. It was up to me to make sure that I'm chosen by them. That's what my thought process was around it, because of how I was raised. And so getting older and realizing that I don't have to perform for that, it just really changed my whole viewpoint. Because I feel like a lot of women that are like me and that was like that, we feel like that there's nothing else out there and there's no other way to get what we want, which is romantic love, marriage, relationship, to be in a healthy connection. We feel like there's no other way to get that. but there is. I'm not going to sit here and act like that you're wrong for wanting romantic love and wrong for wanting a man, because you're not. It's just that there's a better way to go about getting it. And so for me, and this can work for you, of course, is that when you date, when you begin to date and you're looking for your partner, it's going to be hard at first, of course, if you're just solely used to, seeking male gaze and validation and trying to perform for it. It's going to be hard at first because that's what you're used to. But it's like you have to realize in your head, get this in your head, in your mind, body, and soul and spirit. Get it ingrained in you, and realize that nothing good is going to come from that at all. That the right person for you, you're not going to have to perform for. They're going to love you for who you are and for who you present yourself to be, just naturally. And when it occurs naturally, it's not going to feel like you're fighting for it or thirsty for it, so to speak. It's not going to be breadcrumbed out to you. And like I was saying earlier in the show, I never once had to seek validation from my husband while we were dating, while we're married now. Never. Like, never. And it's the healthiest space I've been in. Not saying that he doesn't validate me, because he does. But he does in a different way than what you're probably thinking and what I used to think that it was. He validates me in a way of just showing up and being a good goddamn man. That's how he validates me. He validates this space that we're in by just showing up being his best self. And so for me, that's the validating experience. That is actually healthy and it's actually more worthwhile, if you feel me. And it's not just trying to perform to get him to choose me. He's choosing me on his own. And that's the validation that you want. Someone that's just going to do it on their own. You don't have to perform for it. Someone that just loves you because you are you. Someone that just wants you because you are you. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that a lot of men out there are like that. Some men are not at that level yet. Some men are just not ready to step up and meet you at that level. And so they're not for you. The one that is for you is someone that is just like loving you for who you are and love watching you just live life and love just watching you thrive and be you. And that's validating enough. You don't have to force it or work for it. It comes naturally. And so that's what I want you to do, is to trust that just being yourself is enough. I know it feels like that being yourself in the past never worked out for you because you never had anyone to just love you for you, not even your own caregivers. You never felt that you were good enough. You may have always been criticized. You may have had invalidating experiences growing up, or had your feelings, emotions invalidated. You never had anyone to, seem like they actually care about who you are and what you're doing, or be, happy about just how you are you. I said this quote a while ago. I'm going to try to remember exactly how I said it. But in a nutshell, I said that kids basically just need to feel like they are loved for just being born. And I never felt like that. I never felt like I was loved just for being here on this earth. No one ever made me feel like that. And so when you've never been made to feel like you're just loved for being fucking born, for just being in this world, like you ain't asked to be here. And and now that you are here, it would be nice to have someone just to be happy to have you here and loved for who you are. And I understand that my mom wasn't quite able to be that for me, and neither was my dad because of their own shit that they had going on. My mom, as I got older, she became that mom that I needed as a child. And I really feel like it's because she left that toxic situation with my dad. Like, I realized that my mom is actually a very emotional person. She became emotionally unavailable because of the environment she was in with my dad. It wasn't safe for her to be emotionally available. Well, at least I feel like she didn't feel like it was safe. She felt like it was just going to be taken advantage of. And so whenever a woman feels like that, her love and softness and care is just being taken advantage of and just been used and abused, she's going to put it away, and her masculinity is going to emerge without her even trying to, because it's like, I'm not safe to be gentle, soft, kind, and loving to you because that's not being appreciated, and now you're hurting me. And I feel like that I'm being taken for granted for being this way, so I'm not going to be this way anymore. And so she took it out on us. And it was very, very hard growing up in that. And now that we're older, I realized how emotionally available she actually is. And I'll never forget, like, she's always been so supportive and just so happy with me. And I wish I had that growing up. But I remember, like, in my 20s, and she had been divorced from my dad. She divorced my dad when I was like 13. So in my 20s, I did this pageant, right, y'all? I did this Miss Tennessee USA pageant. And she was so excited for me. And my dad just doubted it the whole time. But my mom was just so happy. She raised money for me at work. She walked around, showing my picture to everyone. Like, she was so happy and proud of me. And I didn't even expect it. I didn't even think it was going to be all that to her. But she was so excited for me. And I'm tearing up now. I don't know why I'm tearing up so much on this. But it's just that these are feel-good emotions. These are feel-good tears. And I remember just her being so happy. And I'm like, my mom's always been, like, very supportive and very emotionally available. I think she just put that away growing up because she was just in the environment with my dad and she just couldn't be that way. But once she left him, it's like everything changed. But she was just so happy that when I was doing that pageant and raising money, and she showed up to the show and supported me the whole way. My book, Toxic X Chronicles, that I wrote, she read it from front to back. It's over 500 pages. And she loves it, read it, had me sign it and everything. She's always been so damn supportive. She's the most supportive person now. And that's validation, but it's like it's organically happened because I'm not seeking it. She's just giving it because she is delighted in who I am. And so with that being said, that's what I'm saying. That's what naturally needs to occur. Just be yourself, and the right people will love it. And I'm sorry if you don't have, a mom or dad or anyone in your family to be there for you. That's definitely needed. I'm sorry if you don't have that. But I'm telling you that you can get along without it. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of healing and a lot of reparenting, but you can. And yeah. And so what I was getting at is that I don't remember what I was getting at. I guess I was just having a good memory about, and I was just saying how the wrong person, the wrong somebody can just bring you down. Because my dad, I feel like, just brought my mom down to a level that just made her unavailable to her kids. And as a child, I remember thinking like, well, it's a child, and I was getting older into my teen years. I started realizing my mom really does love me, but she just shows it in her own way. And that sucks to be like that. It shouldn't be in her own way. It should be in a way that you can recognize and feel. And yeah. So I got off track a little bit, but I guess not really, because that all goes hand in hand. And when you stop seeking the male validation and you start realizing that no good can come from it, and you start realizing that You don't need to perform to be loved, to be chosen, and that people can just choose you on their own. You'll stop and realize that you just need to expose yourself to that. Now, the thing is, sometimes we don't have the patience for it. We don't have the patience to wait for the good people to be attracted to us. We don't have the patience to just, like wait it out. Because we want the instant gratification, the instant connection. We want someone to instantly be infatuated with us. And narcissists are going to always be instantly infatuated with you. People that are trying to manipulate you are always going to be instantly infatuated with you. And they're always going to be very validating in the beginning, making you feel good because they're telling you what you want to hear and what they know you want to hear. They showing up how you know you want them to show up. And they start off real heavy and strong in the beginning, very consistent in the very beginning. And then it starts to taper off, and you're like, what's up? But they knew that's all they needed to get you, and now they got you. And so they know they can breadcrumb it out because you're seeking the validation from them. And they know that that's what you're looking for and want to hear, and that you can't do it on your own. So they're like, okay, she's someone I can control. And so once you just realize that it's going to take a little time for the organic connections to build, but they will, you'll start to solely be focused on looking for connections of that nature. And because I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to end and leave you with this note, y'all. This is very important. Very, very important. When it comes to seeking the male validation, I want you to know that seeking things like validation is not going to give you the experience that you think it is. It's not going to benefit you in the way that you feel it may do. I know that something within you feels like that's the only way to feel good about yourself. But I want you to start slowly building yourself up in ways. And you'd be surprised in how the simple things can really build you up. It's just simply just going for what you want, thinking about the life you want, thinking about what you want for yourself outside of having a man. Think about, and outside of even having kids and a family and marriage, think about it outside of that. I want you to know that you focusing on you and actually prioritizing yourself is not going to pull you away from love or take you away from actually having the romantic connections that you want. I think sometimes we get so fearful and afraid that if we are not solely focused on getting validation and being chosen and romantic love, that we're not solely focused on it, that it's going to pass us by. It's not. It's actually going to be attracted to you, but it's going to be the right kind of love. The right kind of connections are going to be attracted to you. The people that are actually able to love you will be attracted to you. The people that are actually able to love you are going to have boundaries of their own. They're going to be secure within themselves. They're not going to manipulate you, of course. They're not going to gaslight you. They're not going to just tell you what they think you want to hear. They're going to be basically looking for something as real as you are looking for. And you will attract it by just solely focusing on you and what you want for yourself. I promise you. I promise you. It works that way. I'm telling you it does. I'm telling you from experience that it does. Just try it. After you finish listening to this, I want you to get busy with trying to figure out for yourself what you want for your life. Even if you make a fuck up and make a mistake and you don't get it quite right, or you fall off track, or if what you plan for yourself doesn't go right, that is okay. That's all a part of you actually trying. And with you trying to be better and do better, you're going to have a little times and moments where you fall down, but you build yourself back up and keep going. I want you to focus in on what you want for yourself in your life. And I'm telling you, you're going to soon find out that you don't really need that validation like you think you did. You don't want males like that anymore. And the right ones are going to be attracted to you and love who you are for just you being who you are. It will take some time. Not everyone you meet is just going to be like, oh, I like you for who you are. I like that. Not everyone's going to like that. And I think that's what we're afraid of. It's just the rejection that we will feel from being ourselves. Because we know that when we be ourselves, that it's not going to be for everyone. But that's okay. You know, and you just have to understand that, yes, while you may not be for everyone, you will be for the right someones. And once you just realize that the little rejection you get from being yourself, when people are not liking you when you're being yourself, the rejection you feel from someone not choosing you, from you being yourself, it's actually for your good. That's actually saving you from a very low quality experience of you overperforming for someone that doesn't really want you any damn way. And once you realize that you can just be yourself and get everything to come to you, you'll start doing it more. I was just being my damn self when I met my husband. I gotten to the point where I'm like, either they like it and love it or leave it. And I went on a date and with him just like, I don't care if you like me or not. I have a good life at home. I've made a life for myself. I got these plans I'm trying to figure out. I got this journey I'm on with trying to, do what I want to do for myself. I got some travel plans I want to do for myself. I got some good friends in my corner. I got some good family in my corner. You don't like it. Okay, next. I got some people that do. And I started having that attitude. And when you have that attitude, it's like you'll understand that what's for you will be attracted to you, and what's not, you don't want it no damn way. And I know it can get lonely. I know it can feel, you can be sad about it. I know the rejection can hurt when someone doesn't really want you for you or like you for you or doesn't want to continue to date you or doesn't want to choose you. I know that can hurt. But I'm telling you, there's always somebody else coming to try with. There's always going to be somebody else that will like it. Keep going until you get to that. You don't want someone that you have to seek validation from, because you're always going to be seeking it. You're always going to be chasing it. You're always going to be looking for it. And it's never going to be enough. It's not going to be a fulfilling relationship. But when you're being just yourself and someone is happy to and loving you for who you are, just from you being your natural self, it's always going to be enough, because it's you being you and someone just happy to see you being you. And someone just loving being on this journey with you while you're being you. That's what you want. That's the type of validation you want. That's the type of connection you want. Just be you, and I promise it will materialize into something worthwhile that you really want. I promise. Okay? Try it. If you want a different experience than what you've always had, if you want something different than just feeling like you're not enough and feeling like you're always seeking validation, feeling like it's just they're not ever pouring enough into you, feeling like they just can't do it for you, and you're always just wanting to, prove yourself to them. If you're tired of feeling like that you're just not enough and feeling unworthy about yourself, start being yourself. Start being the woman that you are, being who you truly are at the core, and the right people will be attracted to you, I promise. The right relationships will come to you, I promise. The right opportunities will come to you, I promise. I'm speaking from experience. Trust me, okay? I've been there, girl. That's why I told my story of how it was. I know, I get it. I've been there. I've been hurt like that. I've been crying like that. I've been confused like that. I've been seeking validation like that. I've been just wanting a man to just want me and choose me. I've been that girl performing for their love and their validation, and it was never enough. It never really fully filled me up and validated me. I had to fill me up. I had to validate me. I had to do that by just being myself and then having people that love me for me. I know maybe in your childhood, the people you depended on and the people that was supposed to care about you, your parents, caregivers, they may have not made it felt like that they loved you for who you are, and may have not actually showed interest in what you're interested in or anything like that. You may not have gotten that. But there are people out there that are going to just love what you do and who you are. They are. I have a great group of friends and a great husband that just really, really loves me for who I am. They're so excited about what I do. I texted my friend group the other day, like, y'all, I got my first 1,000,000 views on my reel, and they're always so happy about what I do. And it's genuine. It's not like fake love. It's always genuine. They're always excited about what I got next and asking me about what I do. And my husband has always supported me. I mean, hell, he got this camera that I'm talking on right now. He got me this house. He made sure he moved into a house because I'm like, I want my own space, and got me this office. And it's like, I didn't have to perform for this. I didn't have to be someone I'm not for this. I was my natural born Kindall Pisces self. And they loved it. And they love me for who I am. So, like I said, I'm going to end with this. I said I was going to end like 10 minutes ago, I think. But I'm going to end with this. It's love you for who you are, and I promise you there are other people that are going to love you for who you are too. You don't have to seek validation. It will naturally come to you with you just being yourself. I promise you that. I don't know. I didn't expect this to be an emotional podcast for me. I haven't cried on a podcast in quite some time. But I guess just because I had to go back to who I was and that woman, that girl that I was. And I'm like, whew. I'm just hug her. But yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Thank you for all your continued support. Thank you for your naturally occurring validation. I appreciate y'all. Whenever I say y'all, much love to that, because I really mean it. Like, y'all keep me going. Validation is not a bad thing. I don't want you to feel like that. But it's the best when you're just being yourself and it naturally happens. That is the key point that I want to leave with. Because y'all all love me for who I am. I ain't performing on here. I'm being myself. And I got hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views on things. And everybody just loves me for who I am. And I'm in my natural self. This has also been a very validating, awakening, emotional corrective experience for me, because I'm just really being myself, and I'm realizing that people are gravitated to me for me just being myself. So that's how it works. I'm telling you, it's like once if I knew that being myself was this lit, I would have been myself a long time ago. If I knew that being myself was what could actually work and attract the opportunities and the things that I want out of life, if I knew that, I would have been myself a long time ago. Be yourself. I promise it's beautiful. And I promise it's attractive. And I promise someone's going to love it. Okay? Okay. Well, that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Until the next one, peace out.